We're going to be talking about Fermi questions. What are Fermi questions? I mean, Fermi was a scientist and a Nobel Prize winner. More about Fermi in a separate video that I'll be recording. Essentially, it's an approach to solving problems in either physics or math, where problems are difficult to solve or quickly measure or calculate, or in some cases, I would actually even say impossible. And I'll talk about some Fermi problems very quickly where it's kind of really impossible for you to even calculate certain questions, certain solutions for certain questions without taking an opportunity to approximate or do a quick back of the envelope calculations. I'm going to give you a very simple example right now. Let's say somebody asked you, what is the circumference of the Earth? I'm like, you're thinking about this and like, oh my God, how am I going to sit here and I don't have a tape measure that's going to be doing it. So I'm going to be talking about this. So let's say that you take a flight from New York to Los Angeles. And you say, how many time zones is that? So you say that's about 3 time zones. And you say, well, approximately how many miles is that to cross 3 time zones? You say, okay, that's actually about 3,000 miles. And if I ask you then, what would be the next question you would go? You can say, okay, you know what? How many time zones are there in the Earth, in the world? And, kind of hard if you think about it, but I'm going to say, well, okay, we say New York, Los Angeles, it's 3 hours. So it's basically 3 time zones for 3 hours. We have 24 hours in a day. So we can say, okay, maybe there are 24 time zones with each hour representing, that's just an approximation. So that means that we can say, well, it's okay. It's basically 1,000 miles per time zone. And you can say, okay, that means that for 24 time zones, we're going to be having 24 times 1,000. That's approximately 24,000 miles is the circumference of the Earth. And, one would say, okay, so that's great, but what is the real answer? The real answer is 24,901. Sorry, I was just making sure I wanted to check that. It's 24,901 miles is the circumference of the Earth. For an approximation sitting in my chair in my office and for me to come to an answer, that's pretty damn good. Now, Fermi questions or questions like this, how many ping pong balls can you fill in a swimming pool? How many times do people do oil change on Tuesdays or next Tuesday? Things like that, right? There are questions like this that you can answer using the Fermi approach or the how do you solve Fermi-like problems or Fermi problems. There you have it. Enjoy.